It's the Wheelchair Prophet. Tonight, I want to talk to you about the Roman spirit. Hold on, Boosie, help me out.
Wrap it up, you know what I'm saying? Welcome to the mind of the maniac. What part of real you need to understand? Let me talk to y'all. I keep a gat cause niggas murder. Got a bad habit of further. In the studio I murder. I'm coming, man. I swear to God I'm thugging hard. Real niggas deal with your big Glock all time. We ain't stunning, man. These street niggas, we eat niggas out tracks from Mouse and B. Better be about your page to talk to me. Mind you wonder why your job so bad. Because the fucking body bags and hypnotize my ass is deep. Holding on to this money, man, I gotta get it. Choppers in the Glock 40. Play with me, you get your issue. Wrap your dick up, cause your dick can have the hiccups. You're rich, you marry a bitch. Get a priest. I ain't got no mind. Welcome to the mind of a maniac. Street nigga, street nigga. Ain't got no mind. Welcome to the mind of a maniac.
This sermon will be by yours truly, Mabel 13 Wooden's baby boy. Up out of that nigga Scott Joplin, that ragtime nigga, the water flats. Yeah, it's the Wheelchair Prophet, and we up out of those courts, 5512 Maple. They don't want me to talk about it because they want to forget about it. But I'm not gonna let you forget the mind of this brainiac, the Wiener pre-graduate, preschool certified, kindergarten accredited, reduced to the lowest common denominator. It's the Wheelchair Motherfucking Prophet. And tonight we will be sermonizing homiletically and rhetorically in the ethos and the pathos of the Greeks. Don't mess with the Romans, they bullies. That's what the Greeks said. Those Etruscans, look it up. Those Jovans, these are the ones that laid the tip of the spear. What the Bible declared, you shall look into the eyes of him whom you pierced and bow down. The Roman spear, and we shall be back. You know, before we go to this, we're going to give you some facts about the matter, some academia. And this is the way we roll in kindergarten. Let's go. This is my Caucasian friend.
I'm reading from Psalm 22. Dogs have surrounded me. A band of evil men has encircled me. They have pierced my hands and my feet. This is a central verse, a prophecy 1,000 years before the time of Jesus Christ that actually speaks to the form of his death. A capital punishment that wasn't even devised yet. And then, 1st century AD, the Romans had definitely figured out how to execute by crucifixion. Crucifixion usually began with a flogging, a scourging of the back. They would take a cat of nine tails. It'd be leather strands tied with metal and bone, and they would lay the back bare. And typically they would expose not only flesh, but even internal organs. Now, under the Jewish law, it was limited to 40 lashes. So generally speaking, what they would do is only 39 because they didn't want to have a miscount and somehow violate the holy law. Well, once this scourging or this flogging was done, the next step step would be to actually have the one who was going to be crucified actually carry the form, the instrument of their own death. Now this would be the patibulum. This is the crossbar on the cross. This thing could weigh 100 pounds. And they would lay this on this weakened person.
Excuse me, teacher. Can the wheelchair prophet, the wiener, the kindergartner, the preschooler, certified, bona fide, magna cum laude, 8th grader, may I go to the bathroom, to the potty, please, teacher? Not now. We want you to stay and study hard at the bottom so you can talk to those academicians at the top. Now you go back. You're one of my best students. Thank you, teacher. It's the wheelchair prophet. We right back at you with that real deal. What Jesus actually went through for you, shawty. What Jesus actually went through, man, for all of you. And you know what? Tupac asked, is there a heaven for a G? I gotta tell you, yes.
Case of Jesus Christ, if you look at the gospel accounts, he probably walked the length of about 2 football fields with a patibulum, a crossbar that could have weighed 100 pounds. No wonder he needed help. Now, once you get to the crucifixion site, they would already have this 7-foot, up beam already there called the stipes. And what they would do is they'd have the victim lay down, and they would take these nails, 7 inches long by 3/8 in diameter, and they put these right through your wrists. So, of course, in the pictures they have it going through the hands, but the ancient accounts are real clear that it would actually go right here through the wrist so that you could actually be held up without ripping off the cross. Okay? So then what they do is after they mounted you on this cross, you had this really crude seat. There was a little seat that was actually on the stipes, and they would twist your body kind of in a contorted way so they could actually nail your 2 feet on there. And your hands would be across the patibulum and your feet down on the stipes, and you're sitting on this kind of crude seat, and then they would lift you up. Now, crucifixion was horrible in and of itself. Your bones would be dislocated. You would, just the most awful form of torture prior to death. But the ultimate way that you died was suffocation. You'd be asphyxiated because what you're doing is there's this tremendous pressure on your chest cavity as you're hanging up there. And the only way to get a breath would be to, fighting against the pain, lift up just to inhale your lungs, and then you would come back. And over the hours of doing this, there's this trade-off between excruciating pain and getting another breath. And then ultimately, you died from suffocation. You just couldn't push yourself up anymore. So this heinous form of torture and death called crucifixion, which the psalmist David spoke about 1,000 years before the time of Jesus Christ, and hundreds of years before this form of execution even came on the world stage. I continue from Psalm 22. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart has turned to wax. It is melted away within me. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You lay me in the dust of death. Now this is the psalmist 1,000 years before Jesus Christ speaking these prophetic words as Christ from the cross.
Kind of sound like what they do to black people, what they did to Carlos Bone, what they did to Dr. King. These Germans, these Romans, these competitions, these Hannibals are cannibals.
Before the time of Jesus Christ. One of the things I would just totally encourage you to do is read these for yourself. Psalm 22. Isaiah 53, another incredible prophecy written about 700 years before the time of Jesus Christ. And then compare these to the 4 gospel accounts, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. When we speak of the crucifixion, when you see the words of Jesus Christ from the cross, you're going to be stunned. I really, really encourage you to check out the evidence for yourself. Don't listen to me as I portray it, but go read Psalm 22 that I just read from here. Go read Isaiah 53 and compare them to the gospel accounts for yourself. I think you'll be amazed.
That was Randy Niles at www.randyniles.com. BlogTalkRadio.com. I'm giving my boy a plug, a shout out, and I'm going to tell you what we doing here. We doing what we call in the hood, if you eat, I eat, we all eat. We getting in on this together. Now listen, if I just may for a moment, as I speak to those of you who are listening to the Wheelchair Prophet tonight, what we've attempted to do to those of you who are listening to us tonight, we've attempted to enlighten you on actually the factuality, the litigatory, and the evidentiary facts of the death of Jesus Christ. Now you see, I just wanted to jump in, like Double Dutch. Y'all remember Double Dutch? I remember Double Dutch, no homo, and I played Double Dutch with my little sister and her friends. You don't hear me, the Wheelchair Prophet on the west side. We hopscotch Double Dutch, you hear me? And we clapped it up, you don't hear me. Now, I want to say one thing. You see, Randy explained to us that the crucifixion was an Etruscan, a European tool of torture for intimidation, and not only to intimidate and to crucify the criminal in such a way that no one would ever dare to vocalize their independent voice against the power of Rome, which is the Vulgate. It is the Campanellissimo. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. I'll talk to you about it when we get home. You don't hear me. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that what Randy said was true, that the majority of those who were crucified under the Roman torture and tool of crucifixion, they normally died of suffocation because the Romans would come out. This is what Randy didn't tell you. They some dirty motherfuckers. Oh, Lord, this is satirical expression. This is William Shakespeare when he reduced the behavior of those who were in power in Denmark and said, there is something rotten in Denmark. What he was really trying to say for the day of his time to understand the decomposition of the body. He couldn't tell you that blowfly troop. Well, you see, he did not have these botanistic understandings based on the evidence of research of carbon-14 dating and carbon footprinting and all of those investigatory researches that we have come to now. You see, Shakespeare didn't know that, but he said, it's a dirty motherfucker in Denmark. You don't hear me. See, y'all don't understand that a curse is a curse is a curse. Now, how you want it? You want it dirty or you want it clean? But what I want to tell you, if you get a clean curse, you're cursed anyway. You know why? Because God has already decided that this is what curse is. Now, you think about that and get back at it a little later. But what I'm trying to tell you is that good God Almighty, when Jesus was hung on that cross, as Randy said, he did not get his bones broken, because in that same 22nd chapter, when he said, my God of Psalms, why hast thou forsaken me? The Bible declared that none of his bones would be broken. And you know, Randy started out by saying that Jesus' blood was poured out on Golgotha's skull, on that hill. Well, you know what happened? You see, Jesus told him, he said, I give my life a ransom for many. No man take my life, but greater love has no man than this, than to be numbered among the transgressors. And that's one other thing I want to tell you about the crucifixion, that nobody ever says Jesus was with them dogs. I don't carry his cross. You don't hear me. Go on over to John and read that, and Luke and read that when Jesus was walking the Dolorosa, when Jesus was climbing up that bloody hill, the Bible Bible declared that he was numbered among the transgressors, and there were 2 thieves out there with him. He was on a chain gang. What I'm trying to tell you, he knows what it's like to be slapped by a CO in the Justice Center. He knows what it's like to be hunted down by a terroristic warden in the feds and the states. He knows what it's like to be beaten on the streets by a dirty police.